Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about trickle chargers, how to use them, and also we're going to talk about possibilities of your battery getting drained, what to look for. In this case, in today's video, we're going to talk about the Lexus model SC430, 2002 to 2010. I do see a lot of comments, a lot of videos, a lot of questions about, hey, my battery keeps draining. How do I charge or keep the battery charged if I don't drive my car? Those type of things that could improve your battery life. Batteries are expensive. Trickle chargers will really help. And I also will show you on SC430 model what to look for, the signs that something is draining your battery, killing your battery. Lights are on, wiring issues, ground issues, those type of things. So let's get started. I would highly recommend C-Tech trickle chargers for keeping your battery alive, fully charged, if you don't drive your car. As you can see, I have a few. I wish they would sponsor the channel. I like their product, and the technology they have, this device will never fully charge your battery. It only charges the battery up to 90%, then it drops the charge down to 50 or lower, and it just continues that pattern, just charge and drain, charge and drain. And of course, it does have a kill mechanism. I believe there is a fuse inside built in every single one of them, just in case of electrical issues or electrical surges or whatever the case is. It will right away, it will kill the charge going to your battery. Even if it's plugged in and you just forgot, if you forget to unplug it and you start your car, it will right away kill the charge, because you don't want your alternator to charge the battery at the same time as your trickle charger. So very safe, great products. I have been using these products for a couple of years, very happy with them, and I highly recommend them. For now, let's jump inside the car. Let me show you the hidden lights, or the lights you should be paying attention to, just in case they are turned on or you forgot to turn them off, or if there are any electrical issues, if they are staying on, that could possibly kill your battery. We're going to dive inside the car, show you all the areas you should look and check, just in case you left any lights on. Also in the trunk, the convertible top, and some other hidden locations inside on the passenger side, actually, in the glove box, center console, your radio, dome lights, all kinds of stuff. There are little things that we don't really pay attention to sometimes, and we just leave them on, or maybe they just by accident or by faulty sensors or fuses, they just stay on and they kill your battery. So let's check it out. All right, we're gonna start from the driver's side door. As you can see, always pay attention in case if you have battery issues, meaning you have a good battery, you have a pretty brand new battery, but the battery keeps draining after a couple of days. Good batteries, keep in mind, very good brand new fully charged batteries, they should stay active or charged up to 3 weeks to sometimes 4 weeks. Meaning you should easily crank and start the engine after 3 to 4 weeks. I'm talking about good batteries. Especially if you have a trickle charger, which is great. It will charge the battery at all times, but keep in mind, if you have a good battery, 3 to 4 weeks. So if your battery keeps dying after a couple of days, there is definitely 100% something is draining your battery. So pay attention. Simple things, common sense stuff. While the car is off completely, no key in the engine, you want to go through the entire inside and outside. Make sure you don't have any lights on or left on. I'm just going to point out the locations of these lights that we have inside the car. Of course, the door is open, you see the lights on, but at some point you kind of have to pay attention. Like over here, that door is closed. And of course, because the driver's side door is open, the lights are on. But if I close close the driver's side door, the Lexus signs by the side of each door, the dome lights you have up here by the mirror, they all should turn off after a couple of seconds, like 30 seconds. You should not see any Lexus sign door lights on when the car is off, when you don't have a key in your ignition. Same as the dome lights, they should not be on. Just gonna open the door again. So if you do see the car or the signs or the lights on inside of your car, something is not right. Check the manuals, find out if you left them on by accident, or what the issue is and how you should turn them off. And when it comes to turning them off, these buttons up here, obviously for door, I have it for on. So when as you can see, when the doors are open, the lights will go on. I can turn them off. You can turn it off if you want, just for troubleshooting, or however you like to position the switch. Then next we come to the security, blinking red light. A lot of times the actual security, the alarm system, is the cause of draining and killing your battery. The simple test would be not to set the alarm on. Just leave the car doors open. If you keep your car in a garage, just don't trigger the alarm, and see what happens. Sometimes it's a good idea to remove the fuse for the alarm, basically kill it, and that way you can figure out very quickly if the issue is coming from the alarm system or not. And next is, again, we have more lights inside the doors. We have this light all the way at the bottom of each side within the door. Both doors have them. Make sure when you close the door, those lights are off. It's easy to actually see that the lights are off because you can actually see them right here. You see this door is closed, and there is the light right there that is turned off, as you can see right there. One thing, this is a more like a luxury item within these model cars. A lot of people don't really know much about them, or they haven't really noticed them, but check it out. The seat belt buckle down here, there are two green lights on each side of the seat belt buckle. And this side is on because the door is open. This side is off because the door is closed. And of course, if I open that door, the passenger side door, they will turn on. You want to pay attention to make sure these lights are off at all times, when you close the door. If you close the door and you notice these lights are on, that's an issue. And a lot of times, if you have faulty wiring, ground issues, you may actually, or maybe the lights are burned out. That's something more advanced. You have to kind of, check the fuse boxes and, measure the voltage. These lights could also burn out, but they could just stay on even when you close the doors. That could drain your battery. Next, we have the glove box. We have more lights inside the glove box. I'm going to open it up. Make sure you open up the glove box. Make sure the lights do turn off when you close the door, and nothing stays on inside the glove box. There is a small like a light, dome light or glove box light inside. And what else? Of course, your stereo, you should only see the clock up here. This clock does not drain your battery. It's always on, but the amount of energy or voltage from that clock, it's basically nothing compared to the voltage you have on your battery. So this is not harmful to your battery. Myself, I had an issue a couple of years ago with the gauge cluster. I had ground issues. My battery was draining after a couple of days, and then every time I would get into the car and I would put this key into the ignition to turn the car on. The car would turn on, no issues, but nothing in the gauge cluster would work. I had no lights in here, none of the speedometer, tachometer, or the gas gauge, temperature gauge, nothing was working. It was completely dead. And that was an issue with these cars. Unfortunately, as they get older, depending on where the location of the car is, the climate, the weather, the heat, the soldering on the gauge cluster, the board, the soldering kind of cracks, and you will lose connection. And that was the case with this one. I had to remove. I actually have a video about this on the channel. I will put a link at the description below. You can remove, if you do experience the same issue, you can remove the gauge cluster, either replace the board, or fix the board. In my case, I fixed the board. I resoldered the connectors on the electronic board behind the gauge cluster that controls the lights and everything else in here. That was also impacting the dome lights. They were on. They were not on. I'm sorry, they were not on. They wouldn't turn on. So basically, I had no lights in the front. So repairing the board on the gauge cluster, that fixed my issue. We don't have any lights in here in the center console. We really don't have anything in here. You have your seat warmers. You want to make sure they do have lights, and you want to make sure they're not on. Obviously, if you don't have the key in your ignition, they shouldn't turn on, but double check, just make sure. Again, it could be a faulty relay or ground issue that could possibly keep them on. Obviously, if you sit on your seat, you will feel the heat. That should not be the case if the car is off. All right, what else? We have obviously lights under. I'm going to take the camera outside, but you got to pay attention. We have lights. We have more lights in the car. Sorry about the movement. And they're down here. You see, literally, I'm going down from the driver's side all the way down there. There is one light where the brake pedal is. And of course, on the passenger side, right under the glove box, there is another one. You kind of have to bend down, go all the way under to be able to see it. A lot of times, those lights could possibly stay on. Could be because, again, ground issues, other issues, wiring issues. And especially I have noticed and seen those issues, those lights staying on, especially the one inside the glove box. If you tamper with the stereo system, if you remove or upgrade the stereo system or the navigation system. You know, it could be a wiring issue. So those lights could definitely drain your battery after a couple of hours or maybe days. Just, you know, 2 or 3 days. If they stay on, it will kill your battery. These buckle seats in the back don't have any lights. As you can see, there's nothing back here. So we're gonna move on to the trunk. There are more lights in the trunk that you should pay attention to because they could just simply stay on. One very important part that I forgot to mention inside the car, and that is the turn signal, which also controls your headlights. As you can see, you have the off position down here, and you have auto. You turn on the headlights, and you put it on auto. And auto obviously means when you drive the car, the sensors detect if it's dark outside to turn the lights on for you automatically, or turn the lights off if it's not dark enough outside. So this auto obviously gets controlled by a relay, and it has a sensor. If the relay breaks, or if there's an issue with this turn signal right here, which a lot of people have reported, even though you have it on auto and is light outside, your lights could stay on, and you may not even pay attention to them. So pay attention to this part. I would not use it. I really personally myself do not use it. I always have it obviously on off, and I manually turn on my lights if I drive at night. I don't use the auto function because I just don't care for it. But this definitely impacts your, you know, draining on the battery, just in case if it doesn't work properly. So definitely pay attention to that. Obviously pay attention to these auto window buttons. They all have lights, the locking mechanism, everything. A lot of lights in here. Make sure, you know, when the car is off, all the lights are off. If they are on, something's going on. Again, to troubleshoot electrical issues, unfortunately, is not an easy task. You have them on the other side as well. Start from the fuse box. Look into your manuals. Find out exactly which fuse is for what location, what area, inside the car, outside the car. If you take your car somewhere to upgrade the stereo or the navigation, make sure they know and fully understand about these cars, how to wire the new stereo or navigation or the camera system and all that stuff. Because, you know, if they don't know specifically about the wiring for this car, they could, number one, damage you know, components. Second, you know, wiring is important. They could leave a ground somewhere or not connect the ground correctly, you know, and those type of things. Wiring usually causes battery drain and, you know, a whole bunch of other electrical issues. So if you tackle it yourself, know exactly what you're doing. All right, it's the next day. I have the trunk open. Let's dive into the trunk and I will show you the lights and what to look for. All right, as you can see, 2 lights here in the trunk, and there's always a possibility that, you know, you may have a short. Those 2 lights could possibly stay on. It's going to be a, you know, difficult process to determine or troubleshoot, because the key is when you close the trunk, those 2 lights should turn off, and if they don't, it's very difficult to see what's on inside the trunk. One option is, I have a, you know, I would recommend camera would be an option to connect those tiny little cameras. You can connect to your phone, sneak the camera inside the trunk, and you can see if there are any lights on or off. Second option is, the simple process would be remove the fuse for the lights in the trunk, which is probably ties, you know, those lights ties into the lights inside the cabin. Turn everything off. kill it all. And then, you know, test your battery for a couple of days. That will give you a clue solution as far as if you're draining anything in the trunk. Another option, or not an option, but another thing that you need to pay attention to is this. This one also has operates with 2 sensors, because this controls the, you know, the hard top. So if you don't have good sensors here, 2 things will happen. One, your top is not going to work, and second, if the relay doesn't work correctly, or if you have blown fuses, or it could be a short, or whatever the case is, this could also drain or draw power and drain your battery. So make sure this is actually functioning. It's a simple test. If you don't put it up, you put it back. Sorry. If you don't connect it back in here, you just leave it down there, the top is not going to work. And obviously, if it does, something's not right. And if it doesn't, you're in luck. You don't have any issues with these sensors here. There are no other lights back here. Those are the only 2 lights. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna look up in the engine bay. Just want to point out the fuse boxes, and there are other fuse boxes inside the cabin as well. But again, the best option is the best way to find out about the fuse boxes, look into your manuals, the car's manual. So let's head into the front. All right, engine bay. Fuse boxes, we have one right here, a big one. And we have another one right on that side, right next to the battery. I'm holding the hood, but I'm going to point them out. That is your fuse box. That's the plastic cover right sitting on top. And the second one is the big one that I pointed out, this one. And you have also 2 inside the cabin, under driver's seat, and another small one under the passenger seat. So check out your fuse boxes. Look into your manuals. Hopefully this video will help if you are having battery shortage issues, or your battery's draining. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you had any issues in the past, how you solved it, or if the video was helpful. As always, share, like, and subscribe. It's very simple. It's free. It will help the channel. And I will talk to you all later. I will make more videos about this car. I love this car, so more videos will come on the channel. So have a wonderful day. Peace out.